I want to make a short video talking about studying for the CISSP. There's a ton of information online about what you need to know, what boot camp to attend, what online courses are best, all that stuff. There's actually an entire industry kind of based around recommending study materials, it seems like. You could spend more time figuring out what to buy than you do actually studying. So, in that spirit, I just wanted to share what worked with me, what worked for me, and maybe you can learn something from there. The first book and really, I think the key book to buy here is Sean Harris' book. It's really the gold standard for studying for this exam. It is 1,400 pages, and it's going to take you some time to get through it. I think it took me at least a month, all in total. That's kind of doing studying, off and on. It's got sample questions, and I'm just glad that this book is still being updated after Sean Harris passed. This current version, I believe, came out in 2018. Yeah, October 2018, and I couldn't recommend it any more highly. The one thing I would do as you're reading this book, and I would get a physical copy of the book, is to use a highlighter. It's going to make it a lot easier to review critical things, topics you're not familiar with, that sort of thing, as you get closer to that exam date. It was a really big resource for me to go through and skim through my highlights right before I took the test, and in the week leading up to the actual exam. So don't be afraid to take notes in the margins too. That's totally fine. It's your book. You own it. Figure out the best way to make it useful for you. That was what really worked for me. So the other thing that I bought was a practice exam book. I'm showing you the McGrew-Hill practice exam book. I think the ISC2 books are fine as well. But because you need to get over 70% of the questions correct, you really want to make sure that you're feeling comfortable and confident going into that exam room and taking this test. So I felt comfortable, at about 85% when I was taking practice exams. If I would get 80 to 85%, that was a good exam for me. I come from a technical background and have a tendency to overthink questions. So, thinking about hypotheticals or how would this work, if I was in front of a computer, basically. But that's not really the approach, and, the CISSP is not really a technical exam. So avoid overthinking those questions. That's another key for me when I was studying anyway. This book, has multiple practice exams in it. I recommend not burning through them all at once or, right in a row. If you're not getting enough questions right to feel comfortable, just rethink, maybe your approach to studying. Maybe you need some supplementary materials. Maybe you need something else other than the book you have. Maybe, it's not the right one. Or maybe you'd feel better learning online or with some video courses. I did find this Cybery course by Kelly Handerhan. I'll have a link to it in the description of the video. I'll have links to all these in the description. I think this is a good CISSP series. It's a 13-hour course. It takes some time. There are parts of it are free. You can at least go through and kind of get a feel for parts of it, but it goes through kind of every module, walks you through all 8 of the various domains, and I think it is a pretty good course. Comes highly recommended, and I think this is a good way to supplement in case you don't feel like you're getting the knowledge out of the book. The last thing that I bought before I took the test was this 11th hour CISSP study guide. Again, I think it's good to get a variety of sources and a variety of authors kind of writing things, because certain things might click with you if put one way and might not if put another way. So I used this book. I didn't find it extremely helpful. I didn't, don't feel like I learned anything new from it, but I did feel like it was reinforcing some ideas that were, kind of present in the other books, but or in the Sean Harris book, but maybe wasn't as explicit. So I felt good about, using this kind of as a last, leading up to the exam, reviewing this and reviewing the highlights that I had in my original book. So anyway, I hope this is helpful to you. Obviously there are other options for studying. I mean, if you can get your employer to pay for a boot camp, that's great. But this is what worked for me. I was kind of doing it on my own, and it's been worth it for me to have a CISSP. So I hope you learned something, and thanks a lot.